Hey guys, we're gonna do a little stream of consciousness video, a little old school action for you guys. I just watched the Sony's state of play for the PS5. I am not a PS5 owner, so I thought it'd be really interesting if I watched it just to see what am I missing. Is there anything in this presentation that's like, oh, I should make sure I get a PS5 on Black Friday or something like that, or if there's a game dropping where it's like, okay, I need to figure out how to get a PS5 by this date. And I'll be real with you guys, I think it started off pretty strong. Concord looked really cool. The cinematic trailer looked very Guardians of the Galaxy, High on Life, Outer Worlds kind of style looking game. They said it was a 5v5. That kind of took me out of it a little bit. If this is just team battles, you know, it's all online, so to speak. If there's no single player story, which I don't know, I couldn't really gather if there was going to be any single player elements to this from the trailer. So it started off cool. The trailer got me really excited. The gameplay, I just don't play a lot of player versus player games, so kind of fell off as it went on. Next up was God of War Ragnarok getting released for the PC. I'm gonna be honest, if I was a PlayStation fan, I wouldn't be too crazy about this release. At first I thought we were getting the third game in the new trilogy. I don't even know if they've announced a third game. That's just what I thought. As a PC owner, pretty cool, you know, getting to play God of War Ragnarok on PC, but not gonna make me want a PS5, right? Next up was Dynasty Warrior Origins. Even though it's a single player game, and that's what I'm asking for here, not really crazy about Dynasty Warriors. Next was Infinity Nikki. This was the first game that really made me kind of stop what I was doing. I like the atmosphere. I like the music. The music sounded like Super Mario Odyssey. Gameplay, at first it was like showing off this cat collecting things, and I thought, okay, this is gonna be cool. Maybe it's like a little collect-a-thon kind of game. But as it kept going on, you were just kind of taking pictures of her. I don't really know what to make of it. It looks cool, but I'm gonna wait for more information. Then we kind of get into my issue with the PS5 is every game starts to look like Dark Souls or Shadow of the Colossus, or just insert basically every single player game we've gotten from Sony over the last 10 years. It's all like Dark Souls knockoffs, and it was so hard to really distinguish these games from each other. They all look cool because they all look like they're pulling from like Japanese mythology or some epic monsters. But at the end of the day, they all kind of run together for me. So I'm going to just skip around here. They dropped Alien Rogue Incursion, but that was on VR if I remember right. It was like a snippet, so nothing too exciting there. Then they said they were going to show off this another player versus player. I was like, okay, I'm probably just skipping whatever this is. And it ended up being Marvel. And I'm going to be honest with you guys. If I was going to play some kind of player versus player, this is one that would get me potentially into it, because I love the Marvel IPs. And typically that's what it takes for me to get me to play a game like this. I played, you know, like Pokemon United because it's the Pokemon IP. Marvel Rivals actually look pretty cool. Not good enough to make me go buy a PlayStation 5 or anything like that, don't get me wrong. But if this were to come out on PC too, okay, maybe I'll see if it goes on sale and check it out, you know. Then just Where the Wind Meets, again, looks like cool Japanese mythology looking, but nothing that gets me too excited. Then we finally get a game that's not a player versus player, or not a Shadows of Colossus, Demon Souls kind of game. And I'm like, okay, it's different. It's a horror game, but why does it look like a PS4 game? And then at the very end, it reveals that it's Until Dawn, which I didn't play Until Dawn, so I probably should have known it was Until Dawn, but I didn't play it. But it was one of the most unique, interesting looking games. It just so happens to be a remake. Next up was Path of Exile 2. I'm going to give Path of Exile 2 its flowers. It's a different genre. and it's bringing couch co-op back, baby. Something I ask every game to do is have couch co-op. So shout out to Path of Exile. I don't know if that's something my wife would play with me. So again, I don't know how excited I am for it, but I'm kind of just glad it exists. Then we hit the Silent Hill 2 remake. I guess this is cool. I'm not really a big horror fan, but it is neat. Anytime these old school games can get remastered, remade, and brought over to new consoles, I think that's great. New generation of kids and adults can play Silent Hill 2. It's a very hard game to find nowadays on its original console. So getting it over on the PS5, pretty neat. If you're a Silent Hill fan, let me know if you're excited for this one or not. Not last, 2 more to go. Monster Hunter Wilds. My coworker is hyped for this, a big Monster Hunter fan. I've never liked Monster Hunter, but I've also never really given it a complete shot. So again, cool, glad it exists. Not sure it's going to make me rush out and get a PS5. And that brings us to the last game of today, Astro Bot. And if you watch my channel, you know I'm a 3D platformer fan. You know I love colorful atmospheres, things to collect. I like callbacks. So this was the game that got me hyped. This was the game that got me hyped the most, guys, was Astro Bot getting a new sequel. Lots of, Kratos is in there. Parappa the Rappa was in there. The levels look awesome. The boss fights look fun. The power-ups look super cool. This is what gets me excited. If you're not a fan of these kind of games, and I get it if you're like, wait. You just said you don't care about Monster Hunter, you don't care about Silent Hill, but you're losing your mind over Astro Bot. Look, that's just the kind of gamer I am, and I'm not saying I'm going to go buy a PS5 just to play Astro Bot, but by far, out of all the stuff it's shown here today, Astro Bot would be the thing I would pre-order from all the games shown today. But like I said, as someone who doesn't own a PS5, I just want to see, what am I missing? And to me, it just didn't seem like there was that iconic... Yeah, I mean, God of War was in there, but it's getting ported over, right? So it doesn't really count. But to me, there just wasn't the... None of these games look like they were going to be iconic. None of these games look like they were going to be the next Demon's Souls, Last of Us, Grand Theft Auto. You know, those iconic PlayStation titles. None of these games really looked like they were going to be that to me, except Astro Bot, because Astro Bot looked awesome. So let me know down below, were you guys happy with this? I mean, if you're a PC fan and God of War is getting announced, that's awesome. If you're a Silent Hill fan and that's getting announced, that's awesome. So I get it. Monster Hunter Wilds. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say there were no good games or anything like that, but to me, it made me feel like, okay, I'm not really missing anything that's coming out, right? There's no reason to rush. If I've waited this long to get a PS5, I can probably wait a little longer, was my takeaway from this. So let me know, what did you guys think of Sony's State of Play? I will see you in the next one. Peace out, everybody.